You'll have to forgive me. I was a bit late. I was having a really fun client session with somebody, and we went a little bit over. So here I am. I'm not gonna lie. I have some toast. I got one eaten. I'll save the rest for when we're done. I don't think you need to come and watch me eat toast. It is very good though. It is like the flakiest, crispiest, crunchiest sourdough. It's so good. Hello. Welcome to our YouTube Live. Who's here? What's going on? What's up, everyone? I have a list of topics for us to go through today. So let me pull it up. And perfect. Hang on. Ugh. Has anyone else noticed that everything's changing? Like I logged into my Zoom and it updated and I can't find my meetings. Or I went to Calendly and the whole where you put the details is all changed. Or I go to my notes and I'm like, oh, all these updates. I like to tell myself it's keeping my brain young by making me have to constantly relearn things. Hey, Megan. I just want to hang on. I'm going to read your comment here. I'll throw it up. Your hot seat coaching last month, I literally changed my trajectory of my business. Your life, thank you so much. Okay, you are so welcome. Yeah, and you were in the hot seat a little bit last month, right? Yes. Oh, it got so exciting. I can't wait to hear updates. Hello, Marie. Hi, how are you? What did you say? Updates suck. They do. They do. Is anybody else I went to Calendly and I'm like, where is everything? You know how on Calendly, if you use it, you can set sort of like a buffer of people can't book up until such and such. So for example, I'll say a person can't book a 1-hour strategy session with me for at least 2 days before the appointment, right? So I don't get on with my day and all of a sudden there's an appointment in my day that I didn't know about, right? So I have this little buffer, right? Or sometimes I'll say, I can only do 2 meetings or 2 of these sessions a day or something. There's all these little details in Calendly to help you really optimize the way that it schedules you. But it took me forever to find that little thing of how do I tell it you can't book a session within 2 days. It has to be a 48 hours until we actually do your session. And I found it once, I can't find it again. And I'm looking, I can't see it. I'm dying inside. LinkedIn top voice things just changed. What is the top voice? I don't use LinkedIn a lot. If you add me there and you send me messages, you'll notice it takes me a while to get back to you. What is the top voice thing? Okay, let me know. Get back to me on that. Oh gosh, should I just erase all my notes? No. Oh my gosh. I just erased everything. Okay. I got my notes. I got a couple of updates and housekeeping things. Folks, remember that we are meeting on October 30th. I've got a fun little, what's it called? A little, here, share my screen. I'll show you real quickly. We're doing a goal setting diversity workshop. And so you can go ahead and click the link I just sent you and save your seat. And we're going to be talking, this is because of last month, we were going to talk about goal setting, but we ran out of time because we were having really juicy conversations. And y'all said, let's do a workshop. So we're doing a workshop. So that is happening on October 30th. We're going to talk about different styles of goal setting and really think about, as entrepreneurs, what kind of goal setting do you need to consider, what kind of goals you need to consider, but also your lifestyle and the way your brain works. What kind of goal setting works for you? And then I'm going to get you to make your own goal setting strategies. So come and save your seat for that. The link is in the chat there. What else is happening? Oh, we have our co-working coming up soon. So here's the link. If you haven't saved your seat for co-working, that happens on the last Tuesday of the month. So go save your seat there. Hang on. I had some other, you know what? There's 2 other things I want to talk about before we dive in today. So I take off December and August every year. I have a big belief of let's sleep when the business sleeps, right? And for me, those are two of my slowest months because y'all are out having a life. And we don't need to be worrying about marketing and sales for me in those months because you're doing your thing and I want to go do my thing. So I always take off August and December. So what that means is a couple things. First of all, if you are wanting to get time with me, I've got 5 working weeks left this year to get you in. So if you want to work with me, make sure you connect with me so we can get you scheduled in. For those who already have packages, make sure you schedule your October and November sessions before I'm gone for December. Now, I have 2 things. I actually do 3 things every year. There are some paid, some free workshops. They are my year-end debrief, my big, bold goal setting years, or actually it's more of a marketing and sales planning year. And then I do my back to business in September. So I do a December, January, September to kind of bookend the big months where there typically is changes and new ideas being explored in our businesses. And so I want to share some of the links for those right now because let's get your seat saved. So the first one is the year-end debrief. That happens in December. So I've just shared the link for that. And that is free to attend. I take us through 15, everyone gets a worksheet, and there are 15 different questions to really get you to reflect on what happened and get your analytics. What happened this year? What worked? What didn't work, right? What do I need to change up for next year? And what I do is prime you to get up close and personal with what's been going on in your business so that you can take December to really reflect on what you want to go and move into for the next year. What am I going to stop, start, and continue, right? So save your seat for that. This will be our 5th year doing it. It is a hugely popular working session. It is totally free to attend. So come and do that. It is phenomenal. And then the other thing I wanted to share, let me see. I actually don't know. Do I have it in here? Shoot. Okay, I'm going to look up the Big Bold 2025. Oh, hang on. I've got it open here. Hang on. Let me find it. Because that one, oh, I love it. Hang on. Let me find it. Give me a sec. And this is what happens when I go over on my sessions. When I go over on my sessions and I end up being not prepared. All right, perfect. What is the actual website link for this? I need to change this. I know it's going to be like, if you change it, you're going to mess everything up. I know. Okay. That needs to go. Okay. Don't mind me while I do a little admin. A little admin behind the scenes. All right. We got it. Thank you for your patience. Perfect. Okay. So this is the Big Bold year. This one is not free to attend. However, if you're part of my mastermind, you do get a free ticket. So if you're part of the mastermind, that is inside the mastermind member portal. You can go and sign up there. If you're not part of the mastermind, this is it here. And I want to share my screen and just talk to you a little bit about this, just really briefly, and then we're going to get into it. So this one is an intense day. This is a day where we literally spend 4 hours. Yes, there's breaks, don't worry. But this is where we are looking at your marketing and promotional plan for the year, right? When am I running my sales? When am I launching certain things? What is my overarching marketing strategy? What am I focused on selling and growing this year? And then really reverse engineering that. So taking that from sort of the high level into, okay, quarter by quarter, month by month, what does that look like? And so within that, we're going to talk about things like, are you launching a course and you have to make the course? Great. We're going to reverse engineer your schedule for making the course and all of that launch schedule, right? So this is your chance to really really make a plan for the year and not just hit January with excitement, enthusiasm, and no plan. We are really making your plan here. And this is what I find when folks come to this is it really does alleviate a lot of, I don't even want to say what alleviates. It creates a lot of excitement and a lot of focus because you hit January going, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing every quarter and every month. And I don't have to keep ruminating on it. I don't have to keep thinking about it. I have a plan and I just need to go follow that plan. So you can go and check this out. I talk a little bit about what it is. $250 USD to come on in, or 2 payments of $125. Wait. I don't know why this is USD and Canadian. It's all one price, all one currency. I don't know. Hang on, I'm going to see what it is. It's in Canadian. So the prices are in Canadian. So don't worry about that, okay? Prices are in Canadian. I'll go in and fix that later. All right. So go ahead and get yourself registered if you want to do this. And I think that is all my announcements for right now. What do we got here? You just signed up for the end of year. Yeah, the year-end thing, the debrief is fantastic. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. As I said, this is our 5th year doing it. And I mean, if you've been around me, I really get you to think about your business in really like granular and clear ways, right? I get you to really think about what you're doing, think about your market, thinking about your strategies. And so this is going to be chef's kiss. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so I talked about the 30th, co-working, big, bold, year-end debrief, December. Oh, yeah, and then I think that's basically it. So let's get into it. Let's get into today's topic. All right, so I want to talk, first of all, about the reality of how long it takes to build a business and how much work is required. And how much money is required and how much effort is required. I was driving home the other day. I was taking my dad to the eye doctor and driving home, and I was having kind of a rant. I was having a Kardashian moment. Why doesn't anybody want to work anymore? Right? And it was this thing around entrepreneurship of I notice a hesitation in people working hard. There is like a narrative out there that building a business is easy and it doesn't take hard work. And I think you would all agree, if you've been at it for a while, that's not true, right? Building a business, getting it off the ground, getting it profitable, scaling it up into something incredible, it will be some of the hardest work you'll ever do. And so I want to invite anyone to give me some comments here. Tell me in the chat. Let's talk about this. Like, do you maybe subconsciously, unconsciously believe that building a business is not that hard and will not take hard work? Tell me in the comments what you think. It is normal, okay, and kind of expected to feel exhausted at the end of the week, right? I wrote an email about that a couple of weeks ago, right? Having that feeling of being exhausted at the end of the week because I got a good week of work in, right? Well, tell me your thoughts on that, because it's something that I've been noticing for many years now, where it's like there is this allergy to putting ourselves out there, doing the hard thing, the scary thing, putting the hours in. And a lot of times in our monthly action planning sessions, you'll know those if you're part of the mastermind or part of the Icky sales membership, I get you all, right, to tell me what are your sales goals? What is the revenue generating activity you're focusing on? How many sales calls, how many network, how many speaking, right? Like how many things you're going to be doing. And, folks will say, I want to do $7,000 this month and I'm going to have 3 sales calls. Okay, I don't know that those numbers are going to match up though, right? And so it's this idea of being okay with working hard and being okay with being tired, right? People always say to me, Lindsay, you work so much, you work so hard, da 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 da. I do work hard, but I only work hard when I'm working, right? And so I understand there's a difference between when I'm working and when I'm resting or playing or at the gym or cleaning my house or, going for a walk or going for brunch. Like that's not working. So I let myself have rest and play and time. But when I'm working, right? Like when I first started my business, this isn't the reality anymore because my business is in a different phase. But when I first started my business, I was doing 30 calls a week. 30 calls a week, networking calls, sales calls, right? 30 a week. And now you're all going to go, what? 30 a week? That's impossible. Okay, well, let's do the math. A 30-minute call, or so let's say 30 calls divided by 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, right? That's 6 calls a day. Divided by 30-minute calls, that's 3 hours. 3 hours a day on calls, right? And so you will go and put in 8 hours a day at a company plus commute time, right? And let's be honest, it's almost never 8 hours. You're always thinking of having to stay and work on other projects or stay late, or if you're thinking about things or answering emails when you're at home or on vacation, right? So people are used to putting in that much time for a job. But say putting in 3 hours a day of phone calls or Zoom meetings or whatever, like coffee meetings, put those into a week or into a day, and people lose their minds. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts on, because of your therapist history with a totally different market situation. Yes, this is hard work now. I knew it would happen, but not how it feels like. Yeah, right? It's hard work building a business. And it's hard work when you're building a business and still also working, right? I was working a couple of part-time gigs, right? And then also hustling, right? But I knew that I wanted to take my business and go far. I knew that I had big dreams, right? And a big vision for what I want to create. And I still do. And it continues to evolve, right? There's things that I hadn't thought of 10 years ago that I realize I can do now or want to do now, right? So we got, but what if talking to humans is exhausting emotionally? It feels like 97 hours worth of work. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some tough love. All right. If your business requires you to engage with humans and you are not able to engage with humans, you maybe are not going to be able to build the business. Now, if you're like me and you're like, no one's going to tell me what I can and cannot do, then we have to figure out how you can talk to people and engage with humans in a way that works for you, right? So I want you to remember that the more that you will develop endurance for having calls and having meetings, right? Because what happens in the beginning is we are learning something new. We are creating new neural pathways, right? How to network, how to have a conversation, how to have a sales call, what the email should say, what the sales flow should be like, right? We're learning all these new skills and we're developing our own processes. But as you continue to do them, the grooves are there. So you are able to just kind of go on autopilot, right? You know exactly what to say, exactly what to do. You're able to automate your emails and automate your processes, right? So it gets easier the more that you do it. But I think folks think this is impossible, this is hard, and things like imposter syndrome and anxiety and, nervousness and fatigue and executive dysfunction and all these things kick in, and we let that stop us, right? And I told you, I am stubborn AF. I am not letting that stuff hold me back from my dreams. My dreams and my excitement to create my dreams are way bigger than my imposter syndrome, my anxiety, my overwhelm, my sensory overstimulation, right? It's way bigger than that. So I know I have to just start with some steps, just take some steps, just put myself out there, have conversations and let that grow and let my own skills and endurance grow around that. Does that make sense? So that is, what do they say? 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. And we're going to think about that. 80%, right? 80%. Okay. And that's a combination of things. You don't understand your market. You're not solving the right problem, right? Your business isn't viable. It's not a viable business. Like you need to change your business. You don't know what to do. And so you are either not investing in people to help you do the right things, like show you what to do, or you're not learning it on your own fast enough, right? Or you're simply just not doing the work. You're not doing the work required, right? And so there's this and don't get me wrong, I am pro entrepreneurship, specifically pro service-based entrepreneurship, right? And solopreneurship. It is so accessible in our world today, so accessible with a very low cost to be able to get in and get started, right? You have a skill set, you have a passion, you have something someone wants, you could turn that into a business, right? But But that does require work. And so while it is simple and easier in today's world, that doesn't mean it's easy, right? And there is a lot of work that goes into it, and a lot of personal growth work, right? Endurance and energy growth work, right? And then the actual skill development. So we got Marie saying, yes, good point. I think a lot of it is executive dysfunction too. It is. We can set up systems for that. Man, especially if you've gone undiagnosed for most of your life, you probably have some really great systems that you've developed, right, over your lifetime to be able to function in a neurotypical world, right? So you can develop systems around that. One of the things that I do is I take a week off every month to just do admin behind the scenes work. So I'm not like, on the beaches of Hawaii every month, right? I'm sleeping in, I'm chilling, I'm going to the gym, I'm hanging out with my friends, right? And I'm doing admin work. That's important for me to be able to go hard the rest of the month, because I know that I have this week to completely decompress and be no peopled for me, right? Another thing I recommend people do to allow yourself to go hard: only work Monday to Thursday. Give yourself a Friday of nothing. Don't open your computer. Don't go on your phone. Give yourself a complete day to have hooky, right? To just decompress, right? Develop the systems and the structure, the schedule that works for you, right? I say right a lot. I'm sure you've all heard that. I feel like I don't drink, but I feel like if people drank, that could be like a drinking game. Maybe we can call it a hydration game. Every time Lindsay says right, take a drink of water. I'm dialectic. A dialectic I'm holding right now is my job is way easier than, say, my uncle, who's a truck driver in many ways, and my job requires skills and effort that my uncle would never have to do. LOL. Yeah, love that, right? Like, I remember having a friend say that, and because we were both just kind of complaining. we were in complaining mode. And she was like, but Lindsay, we don't work two jobs where we work as a Walmart greeter during the day or stocking shelves and then go to our job at 7-Eleven. And I'm not saying like those are jobs and they're important jobs, but we know in our world that those are undervalued jobs and therefore underpaid jobs, and they suck. And I'm not saying that they're not important, and I'm not saying that there is some sort of moral value in your job that you work. I'm just saying, we could be doing a job that sucks, that we are undervalued and underpaid, or we could be working a job that's high paying, but we're in a corporate setting where we're having to live by neurotypical rules and deal with office politics. And I am not a very diplomatic person. And so having to deal with diplomacy in a job setting, like I said, office politics, like there are so many things that we could be doing that we hate and that we suck. And we are so privileged to get to do what we love. Right. So it was a really important get our heads out of our butts moment. And that's exactly it. Right. Like there are so many skills you need to learn as an entrepreneur, so many skills. Right. And I would say the biggest thing is the energy output, because there's a lot of fear that's going to come up. And that's the biggest part in those first few years, is managing that fear. But you also get the privilege of doing what you love and what you're passionate about and make a genuine difference. Right. Both can be true. I love that. It helps me to think that I only find it exhausting when the people are new to me. They're not going to stay new. So it's only for a limited time that everyone is new. Exactly. And it's like making a blog is new to you. Writing an email is new to you. Having a sales call is new to you. Having a new client is new to you. All of these things are new to you, and we're developing those grooves, right? But eventually it will be, like I said, on autopilot, like nothing, right? I remember when I first started doing sales calls, in like the early 2200s. I'm 4,000 years old. Anyways, I remember doing calls in the early 2000s. And like, I think I've talked about this before, like that adrenaline roller coaster of like amping myself up to doing the call. And honestly, I don't even care how it ended. I just wanted to get off the call. And then having the crash after of the adrenaline and going back up for the next call. And, and then it was like, there was that like intensity, right? And then in my own business, as I started to then do my own sales calls, I didn't have that same level of anxiety, because I already was well versed in sales calls. I had my own sales call templates. I have my own sales system. So I was much more comfortable with it, but I would still have that excitement and that nervousness. And like, there's pressure when, you need money. And so you're having these sales calls and you're trying not to be all weird about it, but at the same time, you're like, I really got to pay my rent this month, which, by the way, I don't recommend that you quit your job that pays your bills, and go all in on your business until you're ready to go all in on your business. Because exactly that, because you can't rely on a baby business to pay your rent or your mortgage when it's still just forming. Anyways, so now, like, I mean, I say now, for years and years, for over a decade, I can just hop on a call and we talk about it. And of course, you all know, if you've been around me, it's because I teach you how to not have a sales call. I teach you how to connect with the people who are looking for you, who want what you've got, and then just have a conversation, see if it's a right fit for both of you, right? So when you understand that, it just makes it so much easier to just do the thing, hop on the call, right? If you're writing an email and you understand the context is just me connecting with people on my list and sharing a story. It's not about this high pressure thing of having to make a sale. It's like when we understand the context of things and are well versed in how to do it, it just like becomes so easy, so easy. It's new to you now, but it won't be new forever, right? They're not going to stay new. Exactly. I had a burn it all down moment recently, but what shook me out of it was the thought, maybe I should just get a job. And immediately my whole body was like, ew, no. That was a weird laugh. I'm sorry. I say this to everybody. If you don't think about burning it all down and going in and getting a job at least once a year, are you even an entrepreneur? That is so common. Why? Because entrepreneurship is hard. Friends, it is hard. It is hard. You're doing hard things. But like you, I'm like, but go get a job? I've never really been able to hold down jobs. I'm just too neurodiverse. I can't do it. I will always rather do my own thing, and I can monetize anything and do anything. And so no, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, definite ew for getting some job. I wouldn't get to take my dog for midday walks and all that other stuff. Yeah. See, the person who was talking about having to people, right? Having to people and that being exhausting. See, you're going to have to people whether you have a job or not. And I would rather people with my people, the people of my choosing, than people with people at a job. I had somebody say to me how much they hate the way in our current modes of communication, we use nouns as verbs, and how much they hate it. All right. I work just as much as a 9 to 5, if not more, working on that. But I love what I do probably 80% of the time. And I can't imagine 9 to 5 where I'd get that ratio. No, right? You wouldn't. But I will say that yes, you're going to most likely work more than 9 to 5. Like you're going to work more than 8 hours a day. Well, maybe not. I'm just going to say this. In the beginning of your business, you're going to work a lot. Okay. If you have a day job, you're going to be working evenings and weekends. It is what it is. Right. To deny that would be to do a disservice for y'all. Right. To say, oh, you don't have to work that hard. That's a lie. You're going to work a lot. Is going to be a lot until you get traction and get going. Right. Because those early years is so much trial and error, so much learning, so much exploring. Right. And I like to look at it this way. You can go slow, right? And just do a few things every week and take, 5 years to get your business where it needs to go. You can push through for the first couple of years and give it all you got, and you can get there way faster. And it's not because you're getting more sales necessarily. It's because you're learning faster. Right? It's like playing a card game, right? If I explain the rules to you, which is like what a YouTube video or a course does, it's explaining the rules to you. Great. Now I have a general concept of the rules. But then in playing the game is when you go, oh, wait, no, hang on. What was that rule again? No, wait, what happens when this person plays that, right? We all of a sudden start getting context for the rules. And then they're washing my windows. And then you got to relearn the rules. And then you got to try them this way and then try them that way. But what happens if you learn the rules, play one game, and then don't come back to it for a month? Guess what? You're going to have to learn all over again, right? And practice all over again. And so when you take a little too much time to get into action and to learn the rules and to figure it out and to play hard in your business, it delays that because you're not getting that learning is slowed down so dramatically, right? So if you have capacity, go as much as you can. Take time off, take breaks, but go. Learn as much as you can. Get it wrong as much as you can. Test your theories as much as you can. Talk to as many people as you can, right? And then that quicker that you gain the knowledge and develop your skills, develop your craft as an entrepreneur, the faster you'll grow, and then you will be able to do less work. Also, the more money you make, the more you'll be able to hire people to do stuff. I hate spending my oomph on someone else's company. Exactly. I'm like, if I'm going to put in this much work for someone else's company, why would I not do it for mine? Right? But the work has to be the right work, right? Oh my gosh, I'm digging this conversation today. Yes, chosen business colleagues. Exactly. When I started this business, I was so determined. Like, I knew I would only work with clients, vendors, referral partners, like organizations. I would only work with people that there was a values alignment. I respected, I liked, I enjoyed, I wanted to spend time with, right? If there's someone that I don't vibe with, it's a no. If there's someone where there's a values misalignment, it's a no, right? You don't get that luxury when you're working in a team for another company, right? So I want to wrap up this thought and I welcome some more thoughts here, but I just really wanted to have a very frank conversation around working hard as an entrepreneur and understanding that you're going to have to work hard and you're going to be tired and it's going to be tiring. And sometimes you are going to have to do things that you don't really want to do. I mean, I don't love bookkeeping. Right? Like, there's going to be things you don't have to do. It's like when you clean your house, you got to clean the toilets, right? They got to be cleaned, right? And so actually, this is a really cool concept too I want to bring up, because, we talk about things like self-care, right? Self-care. And unfortunately, late stage capitalism, consumerism, it's been co-opted to mean get a massage, get your nails done, go for brunch. I don't know. Self-care is going to the dentist, right? Self-care is cleaning the toilets, right? Self-care is doing your laundry, right? Self-care is making that doctor's appointment. All right. It's the things that we do to take care of ourselves. And if we're being honest, a lot of times self-care is not stuff we love. But we know by doing it, we are taking care of ourselves, right? I mean, some people love to cook. I hate it. It's my breakfast of toast. Right? So I want you to think about your business's self-care, because you're responsible for your business, right? Your business is your baby. So I want you to think about your business's self-care. Doing bookkeeping is your business self-care, right? Getting sales, doing the things required to get sales is your business's self-care, right? How are you taking care of your business? I love this. Okay. So that's that for that one. If anyone has any more comments, please share them in. The next thing I wanted to talk about, is this idea of thinking big, but working small. Oh, hang on one second. I want to see what you've said here. Working on outsourcing stuff like bookkeeping and toilets. Yeah, getting there. Exactly. Yeah, when you work hard and you make good money, you can also hire somebody to come clean your toilets. And that is fantastic. I love that somebody comes. You can even hire somebody to do your laundry and do your sheets. And you know what I mean? You can have someone do that. When you're making money, you can then hire other people. And again, think about all the small business owners who have a cleaning company, whether it's them or they have a team or they do laundry or they, take care of your plants. Like, this is what I love, is you can then spend the money you're making on other small businesses, local small businesses, to then also support them. Like, I just love the way that this kind of becomes this circular way, right? Now, I mean, if we didn't live in a capitalist world, we could probably also just do it all by bartering, but that's not the world we live in. So we use money as our currency. Okay, I laugh, and on the inside, I'm dying. Okay, so this idea of thinking big but working small. I want to talk about that. Thinking big but working small. So when we think big, right, we're thinking, what is my ultimate vision, my ultimate dream? And I'm going to say to you right now, the ultimate vision and the ultimate dream will probably change. So don't sweat it. Don't think you're locked into any one thing. But as of right now, how am I thinking bigger, right? How am I thinking beyond just and doing therapy sessions and then going home? Like, what is beyond that? What is bigger, right? Do you have a dream or a vision for your personal brand, right? Do you have, maybe a vision of creating some sort of cool agency or some sort of like, actually, I'd love for you all to tell me some of your big visions. Tell me in the comments. Like maybe you want to create some sort of community center, a gathering place, right? Maybe you want to be like an author and a thought leader and being paid $30,000 a gig to go do public speaking on stages, in conferences, right? Like what is your bigger vision for your business beyond right now? Let's talk about that. Hang on, I think this is from before, right, Marit? Maybe I should create a business baby, visualize it, and then list all the care that it needs, and use reward stickers, good adulting, stuff like that. Love it. Do it. Do it. You can make a whole little. I like to see things written down, so I'd make a whole the big particle board paper things and throw it on there and be like, okay, here's my list, little stickers. You did it. A really helpful reframe I have around money is that it is bartering. Exactly. Money is a form of bartering, right? Like I'm doing this to earn this money, taking that money to you to do the thing. It's a thing, right? Just a universal thing to barter. Exactly. If we only bartered literally, we would be so much less connected. Wait. If we only bartered literally, we would be so much less connected. I don't know what that means. Tell me what that means. Expand on that. Big vision. I want to do a TED Talk, be an author, use my money and expertise to influence our politics for good. Yeah, right? Yes. What else? What are some of your other bigger visions? What are the things that really just like get you so excited? I want to like lift up my chair. I feel like I'm like I need to come up higher in my camera. I moved my camera off of my desk because my desk shakes so much and then my camera's always shaking. So it's like, let's lift it up. Let's give me some more of your visions. So the reason I say think big, work small, right, is it's like, okay, so we want to think about the bigger vision. What is the big thing that excites us? What is the thing that's bigger than our fears? That's bigger than the disappointments, that's bigger than the executive dysfunction, the bigger than the imposter syndrome, right? Like what is the thing that's bigger that keeps us moving towards this big thing we want to accomplish, right? Oh, hang on. Like if we didn't use money to barter, then I'd be an alpaca farmer in Peru and I'd want someone in Alaska because that way alpaca website, but without money, how do we do that? Exactly. That's such a great point, right? Money connects us, right? I mean, again, capitalism and late stage capitalism, this is a relatively new like structure system in our social history. But that, when we saw money start to come in, like we actually had like some sort of currency system, we saw that exact thing. We saw people be able to do more because we had currency that we could exchange, right? There was a value that we were able to exchange with people. The world did change, and the way that we were able to do more, like exactly in this example, changed because of having currency, because of having money, right? And that's why I always am talking about how capitalism is a system, right? And it is a new system that has been thrust upon us, especially in the West here, and that we have no control over. We must participate in because that is the system that we live in. But that isn't the same as like commerce and entrepreneurship and business. That's not the same thing, right? So I love that. So being able to choose my clients instead of depend on whoever I can get. Yeah, that's a great vision. Let's go bigger. Let's say now that you have a thriving business. What do you do? What is your business? So let's say that you have a thriving business now and you are able to have clients that you adore, right? What's next? Because we can get you there now, right? So what's next? What's coming 5 years down the pipeline for you, 10 years down the pipeline? What do you want to use your business to get and to have and to be? Maybe I don't have a big vision yet. I like writing though. I love it. So something in writing. Yeah. Equity and inclusion consulting. Yeah. So what is, do you want to be a thought leader in this space? And you don't have to. I'm just asking. Do you want to write books on this and go on book tours? Right? Do you want to be a change maker in this space? Is there a specific angle that you're bringing that you want to really bring in this specific way of looking at things, right? So once we get our big vision, then we have to think working small. And the reason I say that is because we still have to do the day to day in our business. And a lot of times folks can get so caught up in the big vision that they forget that they're not there yet. And so they already start living as if they're there and forget that they have to start where they're at, right? And do what needs to be done now to move them up the ladder. And so I like to think of it as like this big vision is on the top of this ladder, right? And there are multiple rungs that we have to go through and climb on our way up. And so at each of those rungs, what does that look like? Right? And how are we right now being realistic and grounded in the reality of where we're at now and what needs to be done now? So we're always thinking big vision, right? Megan, you talked about how after last month's session, you completely changed your trajectory, right? Like we want to have that big vision so we know we're aligned and we're on the right trajectory. And then we got to come back to what am I doing now? We don't want to lose sight of that, but we have to remember to work where we're at now. What does that mean when I say that to you? What does that mean, work where you're at right now versus living as if you already are at the big vision? What does that mean to you? So you'd love to write books, maybe lead a successful community of practice. Yeah. What is a community of practice? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for you? Because I want to eat my toast so bad. I'll wait till we're done. And then I have my, I'm just waiting for you all to answer. I have my typical chia pudding with blueberries, and I have some strawberries. I can't wait to eat it. That's what you can tell I'm hungry. I already am like, what am I going to eat as soon as we're done here? So what does that mean? Think big, work small. What does that mean to you? I'm actively in 4 book clubs, so that would make sense to create my own book club at some point around queer themes and fun. I like small groups. Yeah, that's really fun. That's really fun. I used to have a book club when I lived in Toronto. We were called it wasn't out yet, okay? I didn't understand my own queerness, but it was called the Book Babes Book Club. And we would read all sorts of different cool books and have these big, I loved it. I loved hosting it. But now I would never call it that. But back then, that's what it was called. For me, I want my mind, my soul to exist on the plane of everything is coming, but in my physical reality, I work like it's coming because I'm after it. Yes. This is something I see a lot of when people are in the space of law of attraction, manifestation. When they're in this space, there can be a real passive attitude towards making things happen, as if just the very nature of thinking about it will make it happen. And that's, I should have said, that's another thing I see in why businesses fail, why entrepreneurs end up closing up shop, is because they're in that space of, well, I just have to want it bad enough and it will happen. No, you have to do the work. You got to put yourself out there. People have to know you exist, right? So I like this idea of, yes, everything is coming, but I have to do the work. Like it's not just going to come because I want it, right? I have to think about that. We would all have what we want if that were the case, right? And nobody can think harder about something to make it happen. I'm going to think harder than that person. I'm going to want it more than that person. No, we all want it, right? We all want what we want, right? We have to work. So I love that. Here's where I'm going. What am I doing? What's the reality right now in front of me? A community of practice, a support network for folks to share ideas, resources, and learn about making inclusive. You can do that now. It's called community building. It's RGA number 3. You can do that now. You can already do that now. And you can already start laying the foundation for your leadership within that now on a small scale, right? And let that grow over time with you as you grow. Yes, it does sound wonderful. Yep. Do it now. Start a Facebook group. Do it now. You can do it. There's no reason you can't do it now. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. If you are, I can't remember if you're on my, if you're in the are you in the membership, the free sales membership? That's literally revenue generating activity number 3 is community building. And you can absolutely be starting a community now. You again, think big. I want to have a big community practice. All right. Work small. I'm going to start with a Facebook group, right? Think big, work small, work with where you're at. Also, when we work small, that's what helps us not get overwhelmed, right? Because we get so overwhelmed with the big vision and we get frozen. How am I going to make it happen? How am I going to go there? How am I going to do it? And we get frozen. No, work small. What's one small thing I can do now? What is the easiest way I can get this off the ground, right? Yeah. You just signed up. Fantastic. Excellent. Go watch the Ick-Free Sales training and watch some of the videos I share when it comes to community building, because you can absolutely be starting that now. 100%. Yay. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm so motivated by the big vision. The small stuff is often what slows you down. Yeah. Right? Yeah. When you say slows you down, I would love for you to define that. What does slows you down mean? How were you moving fast? And then how is the small stuff slowing you down? Well, give me the speeds. I was going at 50 miles an hour, and now because of this stuff, I can only go at 10 miles an hour. Like, what does that mean? You're so welcome. Yeah. I want everyone to take a moment here and think about what that means. It slows me down. Relative to what? Is there some sort of speed that you should be going? Right? I want to hear your response on that. A lot of times we think, okay, like my being is a river that flows from one thing to the next with ease. The small stuff is like pouring cornstarch in the river. It all coagulates and I feel stuck. So what is the small stuff? What is the small stuff? Because okay, I want to make sure I get it right, but I'm tough love. And I love that you all bring your vulnerability, and I hope you can handle my tough love, because I don't want you to shut that vulnerability down. But let's talk about this. Who said that the river of business building was going to flow easily? Who told you that? Because I think we can all agree that it doesn't, right? Who told you that the river of life flows without coagulation, without debris, without rocks and white rapids and, waterfalls, right? Why do we think that, right? When we talk about flowing with ease, the reframe that I think needs to happen here for all of us is that I flow with ease through the coagulation, through the debris, through the obstacles. I come upon an obstacle and I observe it. I don't resist it. I learn from it. I figure it out, right? So when we say the small stuff is causing you to slow down, again, who determines the speed? Because are you sure that the small stuff is just not a thing that you have to learn, and that's the part of the river that you're in right now? And a lot of times it's our resistance to things in our path that slow us down, not the things itself. The things in our path have to be dealt with, but it's our resistance to it that mucks everything up. Does that make sense? It's because small things that don't allow for flow. Breakthrough. For me, I get caught up in the small tasks instead of moving forward on the bigger picture, trying to set things up perfectly before taking action and getting started on the real stuff. Yep. You and everybody else, right? We know that perfectionism comes from things like rejection and a fear around being abandoned, being rejected, being criticized, which can be a form of rejection or sometimes even come through as a form of abandonment. We know that things like people pleasing and perfectionism are symptoms of unhealed trauma and some sort of lack of self-acceptance, right? And so I think people throw those phrases around. I'm a people pleaser, as if that's a positive thing, right? Or I'm a perfectionist, as if that's a positive thing. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily a negative thing, but it's not a positive thing. It is a symptom of stuff that we need to work on inside, right? And so, you know how I said at the beginning of this, I will be damned if something's going to stop me from going for my dreams. That includes perfectionism and people pleasing. If I'm stuck in perfectionism, I will be damned if that's going to slow me down, right? Get it out. As they say, get it launched, launch it, get it out. Done is better than perfect, right? So that is what helps me get into action is my stubbornness. I lean into that. F that. So when we say things like, oh, I'm a people pleaser, or I'm a perfectionist, or da 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 da, I want you to start saying to yourself, oh my gosh, this is going to sound so harsh. I'm so sorry. I want you to start saying to yourself, not I'm a perfectionist. I want you to say something along the lines of I'm choosing to let my fear stop me from being amazing. Not I'm a perfectionist. I'm choosing to let my fear stop me from being amazing. Like let's be radically honest with ourselves. You know what I mean? If it's people pleasing, I'm choosing to let my fear stop me from connecting deeply with this person. Because people pleasing is separation. People pleasing is not being honest and not having true connection with people, right? Right? So too tough love, is that too tough love? But I really let's be honest, right? Because perfectionism is a real, it's a real symptom, right? Being perfect, there is literally no such thing as that because it's a moving goalpost. It's always moving, right? It's always moving. There's always work to do. There's always tweaks to make, right? So be stubborn. Be so stubborn about your dreams and your vision and your goals that you're like, nah, I am not going to let perfectionism stop me. Does that make sense? Love my tough love. I hope so. Small things slow me down because it's many individual things. I found out I work better with big time blocks like 2 to 4 hours. So need to put all the same things together. Brilliant. A huge part of entrepreneurship is figuring out how we work optimally, right? And also that will change depending on hormones, depending on how much sleep you had, depending on other stresses in your life. That's going to change. It's never going to be the same, right? It's like if anyone here practices yoga, right? Every time you go to the yoga mat, it's a new day. You sometimes you've got it. Sometimes you're kind of like, I'm falling all over the place. I can't keep my balance. Other times I'm like crushing it. No, there's no such thing as crushing it. But I'm like, I feel really good because I'm able to be present and do the asanas in a way that feel good, right? Other times I go in and I feel like I can't focus and I'm losing my balance. But here's the thing. I don't beat myself up. I observe. I don't resist. I pay attention, right? I'm having a hard time focusing. I wonder what else is going on in my life that needs my attention right now. My body isn't able to do the things I want it to do. I wonder why it's feeling stiff, and immobile. What's going on in my world, right? It's the resistance to these things that mess us up. If we just observe it and we let it be, that's the flow, right? I love that. I love that you're figuring that out. Figure out the way that you work best. My parents told me everything is supposed to be in the middle, not too good, not too bad. And I've always existed in extremes. So I've always felt wrong. So when things are hard, I assume I'm wrong. Legit preaching to the choir. Yep. That is probably the biggest thing that I've had to learn, right? Is that I'm not wrong. The things I do or don't do, they're not wrong, right? There's definitely things that work and don't work, or from like a moral perspective, there's like right and wrong, right? But we are so quick to assume for us, or the further you get into your business, we don't know what's right for our business, right? Or we're so quick to jump on ourselves that I messed up, I'm the worst, I don't know what I'm doing, right? Entrepreneurship is going to push all of those buttons so that you have to work on that, right? Because you won't be able to show up in your business and really knock it out of the park if you are constantly doubting yourself and constantly beating yourself up and constantly people pleasing and constantly trying to strive for perfection, right? I love the idea of working with bigger blocks of time. Yeah. Right. There was a really interesting sort of way of blocking time that I saw a few years ago where they broke their day into thirds. And I think it was like, maybe like 8 to 12, and then like 12 to 4, then like 4 to 8. Like they kind of broke it up. And so those were like 3 separate days. And so they sort of had 3 separate themes, right? And I've been playing with that a lot myself this year, as well as going, okay, I used to get up in the morning and I would have a couple hours to like meditate and do some sort of fitness and have breakfast and just like have time to myself. And now I find that's flipped. I actually love to get up and go right to my computer. I'm so excited when I get up and I want to work. And I am most productive when I first wake up. So usually from like 7 until usually 1 is when I'm super productive. So I get up and get right to work. And then after 1 o'clock, I'm like, all right, whatever is next. Going to the gym, because I started powerlifting a couple months ago, right? So I go to my gym and I do my powerlifting classes, or I meet up with friends, or I play my ukulele, or I clean the house, or sometimes like after a Tuesday and our mastermind and I'm pretty pooped, I just like want to eat snacks and watch Netflix, right? And so it is about going, how do I structure my day in a way that works for me, right? Yeah, designing your days in a different way. I love that. Call it perfection paralysis. If I don't do the thing, I can't fail at the thing. That's everybody. Like, you all know that, right? Like, you all know that we are not unique. That's everybody. And I find comfort in that, because I think, okay, I think this, but so does that person and that person and that. And the people that we think are perfect and have it together think the same things, do the same things, because we are all humans and we are all raised in this society. So these messages, they all come through to all of us, right? We all think these things. I was doing a workshop the other day, and it was a really like multicultural table. And there was a one man, and he was raised in India, and he was raised to not brag or talk about himself. And so he had a hard time selling, because he was raised to not boast and brag and talk about himself in that way. And I'm looking at this guy going, okay, everybody in this room, raise your hand if you were raised the same way. Every single person raised their hand. See, we all think it's unique to us. And I'm telling you, it's not. It's not, right? So this perfection paralysis, yeah, everyone has that. So get stubborn. Don't let that stop you. Instead, I want you to say, I'm going to try, and we're going to see what happens. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to look at why. And is there anything I need to do differently so I can try again in a different way? Right? And if it does work, I'm going to look at why. And I'm going to look at what I would change the next time I do it to get even better. Right? If we stop looking at things as pass, fail, succeed, fail, and we just look at it as a continuum of learning and growing, we take that pressure off. Nothing becomes make or break. Nothing becomes that serious. It's just a constant learning, because even if it's a success, we still are going to look at what we did wrong and we did right. Right? Be stubborn. Man, do I also struggle with front end perfectionism. I can see why my clients are stuck with it, but not always with myself. Yeah. Melanie, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, 100%. And I mean, in the work that you do, you would see it all the time with your clients. But what do they say? We teach what we need to learn, right? Why do I teach about radical self-acceptance so much? Because that's been my journey, right? So yeah, this idea of I can't always see it in myself, 100%. Yeah, again, raise your hand. Raise your hand if I can see it and it's not in myself, right? Well, guess what? If you saw it, one of my mom's ex-boyfriends, if you spot it, you got it. If you can see it in someone else, turn the mirror on yourself. Not in a judgmental, punitive way, in a, oh, interesting. Let me unpack that a little bit, right? And then get stubborn. Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you. I'll let you keep. If that's a message for Marie, right? I'm gonna let you all hang out in the chats on your own conversation. I also have analysis paralysis. Yeah, what is the best thing for me to do now? Well, at least do something. Start from somewhere and then get to the flow. Maybe the easiest thing. 100%. Always start with the easiest thing. Always. Yeah, analysis paralysis is a thing. I am a researcher. I love researching. Like, I will literally be on a call and be like, let's look it up. I love to research things and understand things and look at it from different perspectives, right? Nothing wrong with that. Try setting a time limit. Try setting an objective. I want to know this, this, and this before I make a decision. Do the research, then stop doing the research, put the research away, go to sleep, wake up the next day, go, okay, now that I know what I know, how do I feel about it, right? Because even when I make a decision, it's not my final decision for a few days. I want to sleep on it. I want to let that decision bounce in me. I want to continue to think about it, not think about it, feel my way through it, and also let my brain do a little ruminating to see if there's anything else I might be missing, right? Especially since I think like a lot of people, sometimes I will make a decision that I've made in the past and it sometimes takes me time to go, wait, no, hang on. I've already done this once before and I know it didn't work out back then. Am I sure it's right now? Right? So give yourself an objective for what you want to learn in your analysis, right? Give yourself a time limit of how much research you're going to do. Make a decision and then give yourself a few days to sit with that decision and see how it feels. Decide if you have to make a different decision and then get into action. It's okay to take your time, right? But again, what I want to say is you are not going to let yourself get stuck here. What do we say? Perfectionism, people pleasing, analysis paralysis. Let's talk about it, right? Be stubborn. I am not going to let my analysis paralysis stop me from taking action. And I will say, what is analysis paralysis if not trusting ourselves? If not having self-confidence, self-worth, self-esteem to be able to trust ourselves to make a decision for ourselves. And I think when it comes to business, we are often looking outside of ourselves for the answer. And sometimes that is necessary, right? Sometimes I'll talk to new entrepreneurs and the things they are doing are actually not the right thing, right? It's actually is the wrong messaging or the wrong angle or the wrong revenue stream or the wrong price. It is sometimes that, right? So it's okay to go to professionals and say, hey, can I pick your brain? Hey, can I ask you this question, right? The people who would have the answer, not the general public, right? It's okay to do that. But there is if we have all this internalized messaging that we're wrong, everything we do is wrong, everything we choose is wrong, we keep making the wrong decision, eventually we're going to stop trusting ourselves, right? And so it is a lesson in learning to trust yourselves and to hear yourselves and to make a decision, right? The analysis paralysis happens because of the fear of making a decision, right? Making decisions is badass, at least from my perspective, because I've always had a hard time making decisions because like everyone else, right? All the things we can talk about, all the things we already know, right? When I make a decision, there's very few times I feel as in my power as when I make a decision. Yeah. And also, by the way, making a decision is not the end all be all. Talking about that river, right? The river that flows, right? When we make a decision, I use this analogy actually with a friend and I forgot I did till she reminded me and I was like, dang, that was a good analogy. So when we have the river of life flowing, right? And you're sitting on the edge with a decision to make, should I do A or should I do B? Listen, A is putting the right foot in first. B is putting the left foot in first. Either way, it's going to get you in the river. And then you can adjust as you go. Okay. So the decision is not as important as getting into the river and then adjusting as you go. Does that make sense? All right, I'll let you guys have your convo. I have evidence of doing something less than perfect and still having success with it. So I just keep reminding myself that 100%. Yep. I don't know if I'm there yet. I'm choosing to honor my wounds right now rather than honoring my need for connection. If this isn't what I want to do, I need to change something. I'm not sure what you're referencing to, but I love that you are doing what you're doing consciously. Consciously. You're making a choice. I remember starting with a new therapist and she was asking me some questions to guide me towards problem solving. And I was like, oh, no. I'm not in problem solving mode right now. I'm not in problem solving mode. I feel like my entire life I have internalized that I am a problem to be solved and I am not in problem solving mode. I need to be heard. I need to be heard mode. I need to be acknowledged mode. See, that's a conscious decision. It's a conscious decision to say, I'm not ready to go into that phase. I'm not there. I need this versus just making excuses or hiding in that, right? It is a conscious choice of what you're doing right now. And that's what we love. Any suggestions for figuring that out? My ADHD ass gets distracted trying to do several small tasks, and then I have 10 things partially finished, but none actually complete. Yeah, make a list. Do 3 things a day. That's it. Where's my little notepad? I have these notepads. Here it is, under my toast. These little notepads that I made. Top 3 priorities, right? Make a list, do 3 things per day. That's it. If you do 3 things per day, every day for a month, your to-do list would probably be complete. Right? But we bounce from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. Just make a list, pick 3, do those 3 things. Do not do anything else until they are done. Do not task switch until they are done. It's really easy advice. All right, this is a funny strategy. Drink lots of water, work fast enough through your small things to-do list. Work faster and faster because 4, run to the bathroom because you need to pee. I was thinking about that thing, how like with neurodiverse people struggle to do things like get up and eat and get up and go pee. And I'll literally be like in my chair, like dancing. Let me just get this one last thing, just really quickly, just this one last thing done. No. And I'm like, cowboy, go pee. You can go pee and come back. But we know what happens. We go pee, then we stop at the kitchen, then we sit down to work on something, and then we're watering plants, and then we forget about our work, right? So fine, I'll make a note. You were doing this. Come back and do this. Go pee, come back. I get it. Yes. Yeah. Using the evidence. Yep. Use the evidence. Have you seen the graphic where it's a hand inside the earth with fingers poking through the earth's surface, looking like little people? It says the universe pretending to be individuals. Yeah. The universe pretending to be, we're not. Gosh, we're all the same. The sooner you understand that, the better. Because it's also going to kick comparison-itis out of your reality. Because you're going to be like, why am I comparing myself? We're literally all the same and we're just figuring it out. Let me stand in the power of what I do, right? Yes. Esther, what's up? Facts. We need to be self-aware. 100%. Yeah. I'm a perfectionist and I hate to lose. I don't know if you were here for the beginning of this conversation around perfectionism where I said that's not something to be proud of. It's not something to be proud of. It's something to be healed. But I also hate to lose. I also hate to lose, which is why I'm so stubborn about my goals and my visions and my dreams, because I'm not going to let my own brain and my own internalized stuff stop me from being awesome. And I hope you all decide that today too. I love the idea of setting a time for research and analysis. Yeah, do it. You know, one of the things that when I'm feeling overwhelmed or lost or confused or whatever, I just stop. And I just say, Lindsay, what do you need right now? What do you need? And that gets me unstuck immediately. It gets me to the answer, right? What do you need? If you just stop the spiral and just ask yourself what you need and just listen and then give it to yourself. Yeah. Making a decision is badass. Yes, do it. I hide in my pain a lot. Like the Taylor Swift lyric, I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. Oof. Yeah. And that's really common. That's also why I don't do a lot of scrolling on social media, because I find that a lot of the content that's put out there, I think people try to position it as being relatable, but it actually keeps a lot of people stuck in the trauma, stuck in the pain, because you never get a break. It's constantly bombarding you and you're constantly thinking, yeah. And it energetically, it just pulls you down into a black hole, right? So I think in this whole effort to be relatable, we just keep re-triggering our trauma. And here's the thing with trauma and insecurities and pain. Yes, we can heal and we can develop strategies to move through life, but it happened. It's there, right? And so to continue to re-trigger ourselves all the time is going to keep us stuck in there, right? That's why I don't scroll, because I just find it too triggering, right? Because the algorithm shows me things that I like, and I'm, whether it's neurodiversity or about narcissistic abuse, or whether it's about divorce, or whether it's about, being in a bigger body and the prejudice we experience, or being queer, and whether it's even climate change, like all these things, it just keeps me triggered into my trauma. Because that no amount of therapy is going to reverse time and make that not happen, right? We just learn how to reframe it and how to stop internalizing it and how to stop viewing the world through fear or pain or scarcity, right? Like we learn these things, but to continue to re-trigger ourselves, not for me. Not for me. Yeah, also competitive. Yeah. You don't play. There are certain, okay, listen, I've gotten a lot better, but like when I was a teenager, there were people that wouldn't play games with me, especially Pictionary. Like my family refused to play Pictionary with me. No, this is probably a bit of the tism because I just thought we were playing a game. And I guess for them, it was way too intense. But like, I'm very competitive. But I've learned over the years to temper that. And I look at much more of like I want everyone to have fun, but I don't share my strategies with people, my winning strategies. No, I'll share my business strategies with you all, but I'm not sharing my winning card game strategies. I did once with someone and then she started kicking my butt. I was like, God damn it, I'm never doing that again. I like the idea of choosing maybe one thing a week to be perfect. And then with the other things doing, this is good enough. It gives me comfort and zen to do one thing super good with time. Brilliant. I love it. I love it. That's what I'm working on doing with my 4-year-old. What do you need, buddy? How can you feel better in your body right now? Amazing. Do it for yourself too. I'm telling you, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? What do you think about having high energy to-do lists and low energy to-do lists? Well, my answer to that, Melanie, is why do you care what I think? What do you think? Why do you care what I think? But you know what? I don't differentiate my to-do list that way. I go, I have high energy. Here's what I'm going to do. I have low energy. Here's what I'm going to do. Right. So I don't necessarily have two separate to-do lists, but that's just because I don't need that. Right. Do you need that? If you need that, then do it. I think it's brilliant. Right. One of the things that I do when I schedule my week off in the month, I talked about that earlier today. When I schedule my week off to do behind the scenes work, I schedule that strategically with my own hormonal cycle for when I am at my most productive. Because when I work with people, that gives me a lot of fuel and energy. So on my weeks of the month where I may be feeling a little bit lower, I know engaging with people is going to make me feel good. So I use that, right? I'm like, yeah, this is going to make me feel great. And then I also allow myself to be down at the end of the day and just chill. But when I have my week off, I know I'm going to want to get a lot of work done. It's my week. I want to go. And so I time that with when my energy is at its peak during that month, that week of the month, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So it's like, make your to-do list, schedule your life, schedule your calendar in a way that works for you, right? All right. Indigenous wisdom shows us that reliving trauma is not always, but maybe rarely, the answer to actually healing. As my new coach says, trauma happens in relationships, so it must heal in relationships. Yeah, I'm not saying that so I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that I don't believe in healing trauma. What I'm saying is when we live in it 24/7 by scrolling content that is constantly triggering it and keeping us stuck in it. That's the difference. Yes, what we don't look at, we can't heal. And relationships are going to help us. Any relationship is going to act as a mirror to help us do this, right? The difference is knowing when we are triggered and projecting or escaping versus I am triggered and I want to do that. Let me go work out what's really going on. But that's therapy and counseling and healing. And that's not what we're necessarily into now. I'm just saying, watch that scroll and watch the constant retriggering of your trauma. I love it. I know my ADHD and energy ebbs and flows. So accepting some days I need to do less. Yes. So keeping a menu of low energy to-do items for those times and not judging myself. Everyone give snaps for Melanie. Give snaps for Melanie. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Our energy is not consistent day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. It's not, right? So let's all what is it called? That call out the emperor who's not wearing clothes. You know, the emperor with no clothes. Like the emperor ain't wearing clothes. Like it's our energy doesn't stay the same. So why would we expect ourselves to have the same level of productivity? Again, let's define productivity, right? Productivity, meaning I was productive. I produced something. So maybe in today, my only thing that I want to produce is a clean body by having a shower and food to eat and a comfy, cozy movie to watch. And that's all I'm producing today, right? Like Like we get to decide, you guys, we decide what our lives look like, right? More or less. I know if you've got a job and all that, that's what we're using our business to get out of that, right? To get control of our lives, right? But I get to control to the point that I get to control. There are things I can control, right? And so if today is a low energy day, the results I'm expecting to produce need to be in line with that. I friggin' love that. Love it. Yes. The dopa menu. I first heard about them from How to ADHD. Oh, I love her content. But it's the idea of having options for getting dopamine that require different amounts of time and energy. Yeah, I love that. There's a thing on there too, like how to get serotonin, how to get dopamine, how to get I don't know, all the other ones. And it's like I should find it. I should find it and share it in the Facebook group. But it's like completing a task, having a workout, right? Hugging somebody. I don't know. Like there's like all these things that you can do that are going to, have these like different hormonal releases, right? There's a book I'm reading right now. It's called Survival of the Friendliest. I'll get the link for you. Survival of the Friendliest. And it's just talking about our own evolution as a species. And a lot of what's behind the evolution, or the main stuff behind the evolution, is our ability to collaborate. And also the fact that we had friendly faces and we could collaborate with each other. But then it was the whole section on like oxytocin. And so oxytocin is what is released, that I'll say parent and baby, to get the that protect, like that bond, right? That protective bond. But it's also the oxytocin that makes us do a lot of violent things to protect our own. So oxytocin is related to love and connection and bonding, and it is also related to violence and a strong propensity to protect what is ours. It's interesting. I'm gonna get the book right now. It's a really good book. I am really enjoying it. Survival of the Friendliest. Yeah, let me get the book if anybody's interested. Love that. I've been thinking about clap menus a lot. Great idea too. Otherwise, I will scroll or eat junk food or online shop. Yeah. Who doesn't love a little online shopping? I just ordered a bunch of jeans from Old Navy. They should be getting here today. It's so terrible. You know what? I shouldn't say who loves shopping. I hate shopping. I'm not a big shopper. You know what I love shopping for? This is that, you remember that trend that was going around? If I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be signs. Do you remember that trend going around on social media? The signs would be that my book would be full of like planners and notebooks and books and pens and stickers. And like, I'm like, give me a stationery shop. And I love that stuff. But like clothes and what do you all love to shop for? What is your like, I can't resist it thing? Dopamine menu. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought you meant. Yeah. I want that menu. Yes. All right, friends, we're going to start to wrap ourselves up here. I'm going to take a look to see if there's anything else. I had two more topics I was hoping to get into. But I think I'm going to leave those. I'm going to leave those for now. We're going to start to wrap us up. So as I said, we have some things happening coming up. We have our workshop on October 30th, the goal setting workshop. This is what we decided collectively to do after our YouTube hang last month, because we ran out of time to talk about goal setting. So this is the goal setting workshop that I said I would do. So you can save your seat. It's October 30th. If you can't make it, that's fine. I will send out the replay. The other thing I want to share is our co-working on Zoom is coming up in a couple of weeks or at some point, whatever that is. If you are available, no, that's not what I wanted to say. Hang on. Let me look at something. Hang on. Hold, please. I'm seeing if I have a website for this. So that I maybe didn't. I think I only have last year's. I do. Okay. So I haven't actually made the page yet, the information page for the year-end debrief, but I'm going to share it right here. So this is the year-end debrief happening. It's happening in December, so it's quite a ways away yet. But I just wanted to start prepping folks because I will be off in December, and I've got 5 more working weeks this year. So if you're wanting to do some one-on-one work with me, or if you've already bought a package, make sure you get yourself booked in, because I am already starting to be like, all right, I'm almost done for the year. So the year-end debrief, if you can make it, that is where we go through. This is our 5th year doing it. It's friggin' awesome. I ask you 15 questions, and we go through and we look at your entire business for the last year, and what have you learned, and what are you carrying forward into the new year. And it gives you time to really kind of think and reflect between December and then our big, bold 2025 session that will be happening in the new year. So here is Big Bold 2025. And also, Vera, what's up? I'm excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. How are you? How funny was that thing I sent you 5 times? I sent a funny reel to Vera. Well, I thought it was funny. And it, like, my Instagram froze and I kept hitting send. I'm like, what's going on? And so I sent it to Vera and a couple other friends, and it just was like, I said like a million times, but it was funny, right? Here, I can send it to you all. Let me share it with you. I really thought it was funny. I don't find a lot of things funny. I'm not going to lie. I don't have the biggest sense of humor. My sense of humor is weird. Okay, Vera. All right. This should work. This should work. Oh gosh, it just killed me. Yeah, it was good. It was good. All right, friends. That is going to be it for today. Let me get you the link for next month. So if you haven't saved your seat for next month, you can do that. Let me find it. And then, of course, for anybody that is in the Ick Free Sales membership, we have our monthly action planning happening in 2 weeks. We have our live Q&A happening next week. So come and save your seat for that. It's inside the Ick Free Sales membership. And also it is in the emails that I send you every Monday. So you can come and join that. Thank you so much for hanging out. And then I know I recognize you, but I don't remember your name. Anyways, you've just joined the membership, right? So on our Q&As, you actually get to ask questions and come up on the stage with me, and we get to talk about your stuff. So it's a little bit more comprehensive. So you'll get to do that next week if you're free to come join us. Amazing friends. This was a big one today. Before we go, I would love for you all to share a mindset shift, something that you're taking away from today. Vera, I don't know how long you've been here for. It's been a big talk. Share with me what you're taking from today, and then we're going to get out of here. Oh, excuse my yawn. I'm very excited to finish eating my toast and get into my yogurt. I'm just hanging out to see if you guys are going to leave any comments. I see people popping off already, so it's fine if you don't want to leave comments. I just want to give you space. Here we go. We got reminder about self-care and radical self-acceptance. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Any other ahas or something you're taking away from the day today? Do you like when we talk, because I don't really, like, sometimes I talk about business skills on this one, and sometimes we talk more about mindset stuff. Do you like the mindset conversations? Making decisions is badass. Yeah, it is. Heck yeah, it is. Heck yeah, it is. All right, cool. I'm going to wrap us up. You guys, you're the best. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Yeah. Okay, perfect. I love it. Thank you for sharing that with me. Have an amazing Friday. Have an amazing weekend. For those in the Ick Free Sales membership, I will see you on Tuesday for our live Q&A session. And everyone else, I will see you for co-working, for the workshop, and then right back here next month for more of our online hangs. All right. We'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you.